Hello, 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 and welcome. For some reason, I'm hearing duplicates. There we go. Okay. Okay. So, technology, sometimes it works well, and sometimes it gives you those challenges saying, you know what? I'm going to challenge you. So, for some reason, I'm hearing news. So, give me a minute. We're going to figure this thing out here. Welcome, welcome. Happy New Year and all that good stuff. And while we're figuring that out, we're going to go to one of our sponsors and we will be right back.
Good Friday, everyone. Your real worth isn't defined by your net worth. What makes you valuable is how you use what you have been given. All of us have gifts. Make sure you're making the most of yours. Have an amazing Friday.
It is now the bottom of the hour. I'm excited to welcome Nancy Matthews to our program today. Nancy is an author of a book. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel for you guys. There it is, The One Philosophy. I want to talk to Nancy not only about the re-release of the book, but also what it's been like for her to share the message with all of you guys. Nancy, great to have you on with us.
Hello, hello, hello. So happy to be here.
Raise your hand if you've ever been busy. Raise your hand if you've ever got tired and feel like you just need a couple days off. Most people would have both hands up right now. That's our world, fast-paced and income-driven. That's why we get caught up in our own lives so often, and that's why it's understandable when most people don't focus on worries that aren't their own. So what makes someone become a humanitarian? Someone whose whole life focuses on the welfare of other humans.
When you go back and you see kids that were living on the streets, kids had no structure, they had no routine, people who had nothing, they didn't have meals. When you see that all of a sudden they're waking up, they have structure, they have something to do, they have a meal in their belly, their life changes completely. They, like I said, their self-esteem changes, their self-worth, their ability to know who they are in the world and what they have the potential of becoming, to give that hope, to give that dream, and then to watch people actually use that to do good for themselves and others it's amazing. It becomes an addiction.
And with Serena's help, we'll find the meaning of life to a humanitarian.
Okay, we are back. I know we did a lot of sponsors, but that's okay because it takes that extra oomph for the new year 2024. So with that said, my name is Barbara J. Beckley. I am so happy to the point that this is Thursday, and it's the first Thursday of the month, because that means it is Diamond Perspective Show with the wonderful Queen Panelists. And today, I was thinking, what can we start off for the new year? Okay. Far as either business or personal, because we talk about that. Us as the panelists, the gurus, the queens, the experts that are going to come on, they can touch on every subject. But the subject I really want to kind of just conversate about is, what does brand look like to you? What does brand look like to you? So I want you to start thinking about that. I want the panelists, I'm going to bring them up and let them start thinking about it as well. And I just want you to just think about, and we'll put a little bit clue out there. It's not just fonts. It's not just, oh, I have my website, woohoo. And I'm not putting nobody down about a website. Let me put that to the side. But it's more than just that. And I know our panelists are going to start kind of focusing and kind of telling you some things, what their thoughts are when it comes to brand. So with that said, we will start the Diamond Perspective Show. Yes. And here's our other one of there she is.
We love technology when it works, and we love technology when it doesn't.
Been in that world already, trying to leave the world.
I'm like, what happened? Where did I go?
We're going to keep it moving before something else, and you never know.
Yeah.
So with that said, thank you, Barbara, because I looked, I said, where's Barbara? So there she is. She popped back in. Magic, right? So today, as always, on the first Thursday of every month, we have the queens. We have the Queen Panelists, and they look so lovely and pretty and amazing and incredible, and any other adjective that I can think of, I'll do it throughout the show. But I want to, before we start, said before, this show is going to be about just talking about, what is brand to you? Just a question out there. What is brand to you? Everybody's going to have different takes on it, but I want people to just understand that, even though people are going to have different ideas and thoughts and everything, just what do you think in your world what it is? And it might be okay if you're thinking it's just the fonts or colors in your word, but we want to kind of open up, because as Barbara Ellison always says, not just a mindset, but it's a mind flow, and we have to be open to things as well. But before we do that, I want these wonderful queens to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what they do, because they all have some wonderful platforms, some wonderful coaching, and they have their own podcasts and all that. But we want to keep it to 30 seconds for each one, because we want to get into the topic. And then at the end, I'll let everybody tell how you can contact them, because you're going to want to contact these queens. So we are going to start off. Let's do a little thing here. I'm going to start off with Miss Karen and go down the row.
Well, hey there. It's so exciting to be here and to keep to the 30 seconds. I am Karen Stelch. I'm your awesome life success engineer for entrepreneurial leaders who want to have a six-figure lifestyle business with a lot less work and a lot more fun.
Ooh, I like that. Fun.
Fun is number one.
Oh, she's rhyming already for the new year.
Happy New Year, everybody. I am Lachelle, also known as America's Supermom, mother of 15 children, and I'm a TV producer. I help you to monetize and maximize your impact on a global scale. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Everybody heard that. Monetize and impact. Okay, we got those words there. Mm-hmm.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Hello, fellow queens. My name is Chia Zanyahuye, originally from Gweru, Zimbabwe, a bit of a globetrotter, but currently here in the US. I work in the fintech industry, and I'm an auntie of 14 nieces and nephews.
Wow. Well, welcome, Queen. You're new on the panel, but hopefully this is not the one time you come, because once you're in your family. So I just want to let you know you're a family to us, and can't wait to hear your insight on the topic. And last but not least, the BBs, Barbara Ellison. Oh, you're on mute. She's still on mute. There you go.
Barbara Ellis.
Uh-oh. She keeps going on. Okay. They don't want to hear. Okay, you're still on mute. There you go.
Okay.
I think it's okay. Right?
Again. All right. What did you hear? Anyways, I'm Barbara Ellison. I serve and work with late career business professionals who are just facing retirement and they have no idea of who they are outside of their job title and their job description. And so now they're looking at what are they going to do when they retire? And so it's just one of the things I do. And what the sad part is so many people aren't talking about the emotional side of retirement. They're only talking about the financial and physical side of retirement. So that's me.
I love that. I love that. We have to do all aspects, right? Yep. All aspects. So with that said, let's get into our topic. So we're talking about what is branding to you. So everybody out there, I already see comments. I see somebody saying, "Good evening, queens." Yes, they're the queens. We're the queens. Somebody, let's see. UB Limited. Okay, Brenda Zell. Wonderful ladies. Yes, they are wonderful. So some hellos, Kate. So yes, please. I want the people that are making comments. You are part of this show as well. So if you need to make comments, questions, you have a concept about when it comes to branding, please put it in the comments, because we want to show the love to you and we want to learn and grow from each other, right? So with that said, I want to go into first, let's in today's market, and I'm saying today's market because I feel like branding has had an evolution. I mean, it has changed from when you go back. Well, I can't go to the 30s and 40s. I wasn't born then, but I'm telling my age. Now we get up to 60s. I'm like, okay, here we go. So from that point to now we're in 2024, right? So I want each queen to kind of just give a little take on defining branding and the importance in today's market compared to, what it was maybe a few years ago, because it has changed and it keeps changing. So who wants to go first and kind of get in a little bit into that? We get that discussion going.
I can.
Oh, okay.
Both of us? Nope, go.
I'll go Barbara and then Karen.
Yeah, see, because B comes before K, so let's go alphabetically. We have to have some criteria. Anyways, yeah, I have to admit, I've been taking a branding class, and before taking the class, I always just thought branding was just the things that you put out there is who you are, what you do, all of those things. One of the things I'm now realizing, it's not just that, it's part of that, but now it is so much more about how the marketplace perceives what you're putting out. Are they seeing you as an expert? Are they seeing you as a content creator? Or are they seeing you as just one more person in all the noise that's out there of how many people are there on the platforms? How many platforms are there to begin with too? So I've changed how I think of that. And I think that's one of the changes that more and more people are seeing, is because what's going to help you to stand out in the marketplace?
Good. Yeah. Standing out is the biggest thing. Standing out in transformation. People are looking for that change. Karen?
Yeah. And the way I look at branding is it is a nonverbal way of success. You don't have to be there. When somebody sees, I used to think that branding was simply your logo, your website, whatever. I never did think about the fonts though. So thank you, Barbara, for bringing that one up. But when I started taking some branding classes, I realized, oh, all right, it's your colors. It is your clothes. It can be almost anything, but it is the nonverbal recognition for your business and for you as the expert is the way I look at branding. So, yeah, so but the bottom line for me, and everybody is individual. So what is it that you really want out of your business? Branding is important. Is it the be all and end all? No. As you can see, my branding colors are actually gold or orange and turquoise. I don't think you see any of that in my office or on me right now. But if you see a cool eye with turquoise and orange, you know it's me. Or if you see a lady in a red cloak, you know it's me.
And I love your sweater, just to let you know. I love the sweater, Queen. Because I want to hear from the other two queens too, America. So I know she has some golden nuggets, and also our other special queen down below there, just smiling. But I just want to just throw some out there while we're talking, because I like to throw something and see, so people catch it. Is I tell people now that you're your brand. Mm-hmm. And I know you mentioned a little bit about colors, but I'm talking about you as an individual, that you make up your brand. The relationships, the net, who you speak to, how they get to know you. I mean, a lot of people know me, and I'm just going to put it out there because I always call Lady Queens. And I'm really hard on that because I want women to know how important they are and special what they do. And they're queens. And I'm finding out a lot of ladies look at me sideways sometimes, be like, oh, I'm not a queen. I might be a princess. I'm like, no, you're a queen. And so I've been saying that throughout the years. Now people coming to me, hey, queen, how you doing, queen? And I was like, okay, everybody's catching on, and they calling each other queens. See, it's not so much that now I'm saying queen, but now other women are calling each other queens, and they're just really owning it. So you become your brand, and people will catch on to it, just like McDonald's, right? What? Da 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 da. You hear that? You know you're at McDonald's somewhere. They got their brand locked down, right? Mm-hmm. So let's hear from American Supermom.
I think this is a great question, because if you are looking at my website as part of my brand, I might be in trouble. It needs to be updated. But I love what you said about being your brand. I think that is so important, because branding is about differentiating yourself from everybody else. Now, I'm a TV producer, I'm a coach, author, speaker. All these things are industries where there's a lot of people in it. So it's not so much about, trying to be so vastly different, but it's about being who you are so that people can identify where they want to place you in those specific places. So, if someone wanted some speakers, well, what are the topics that I talk about? When it comes to branding, it's about putting content out there that supports what it is that you do. And I think that's important to kind of know what your brand is and what you stand for, because this helps you not be overwhelmed trying to be on all different platforms, doing all these different things when you know that may not support what it is that you stand for, right? One of the things that I'm passionate about is mental wellness. So yes, I'm on a lot of social media platforms, but it is a structure to how I do that. And that's part of my coaching, to be able to help people to understand you can be all places, but work smarter and not harder. And one of those ways is being in a media type of program so that you can be strategic and leverage your positioning in different places so you're not burnout, overwhelmed with some of the things that you do. And I think it also is important so that you know who you're going to collaborate with. A lot of times, if you're trying to build your brand, you think, oh, I need to be everywhere. Well, everywhere may not be a good fit for you. So when you're clear about who you are and what your brand stands for, then you can have boundaries and set up certain parameters that are going to help you to not be burnt out and overwhelmed trying to follow trends and do things that don't really support what it is that you are working to build.
Ooh, good. Ooh, awesome, awesome, lady. I love how you said to create those boundaries, because I tell people it's okay. Like you said, we're all of us are everywhere. I'm telling you, everybody on this panel, we're on different platforms, different podcasts. We do different things within our lane. But I think the thing is, and like America's Supermom said too, and it's a lot of other queens, is you have to be strategic in how you're doing it. I mean, it should always go back to the middle of you, right? I mean, you're like, just look at yourself. You got this circle, you're in the middle, and then you have all these antennas going out everywhere, but it should always be kind of reverting back to you. Because I know one thing about American Supermom, she's, like she said, she's a pocket, she's production, she owns companies and stuff, but I know her thing that she loves, that burns inside, is mental health. So she's always going to bring that somewhere in what she's doing. I know for Barbara, she's dealing with, the people retirement and making sure the emotional stuff is there. She's always going to bring that everywhere, but she's going to always go back to her. And so is Karen and other queens. So it's all about being strategic in it and not just saying, okay, well, I see you everywhere, Barbara. Because a long time ago, somebody said, well, I see you everywhere. And they didn't even know what I did. And I was like, uh-oh. I just messed up my brand. Because if you're saying that you're seeing me everywhere, but then you don't even know what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, then you got to pull back and ask yourself and look in the mirror and say, okay, something's not, coming here. There's confusion. And when confused minds don't, they don't buy, they don't think, they don't build, nothing like that. So, but I want to hear from our new queen. I know she has some wonderful golden nuggets.
Thank you, Queen Barbara. So for me, branding, what it looks like is building relationships. And the queen of building relationships is actually my mother. She's now 80 years old, but she and my dad were entrepreneurs for over 40 years. And how I experienced my mother's brand is that the way she treated the customers, they always emphasized treating them like royalty. So to this day, even after 20, 30 years, we're just walking in the street in Guero, that's where my mom is. People would run up to her and throwing the arms, basically hugging her and saying, oh, I remember how you treated me when I was a child and how you made me feel about myself and how to improve myself. So my mother's always been somebody who says, treat people with love and respect. Help them uplift themselves, catalyze the genius within themselves. And I carry that way of being in all aspects of my life. Even being on this panel today is through the building of relationships I did over the past 6 months, even on LinkedIn, being able to engage one-on-one, because I find I best connect with people when I hear them in forums. I reach out to them individually, set up a one-on-one, and have humane, real conversations. And that's and even in my current corporate space in fintech, I always see myself as a problem solver. But as a problem solver coming from an empathetic, compassionate point of view, where it's all about asking questions, right? Getting the other person or the customer to really tell us what are their pain points, what are their priorities, and what value are they looking for, and even if I am the value that they're seeking. But again, I circle it back around. Again, it's all about human connection and how you make other people feel in your presence. So even I know the late Maya Angelou said, people may forget what you say or what you do, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. That's what I see with my mother. Every time I see people running up to her and hugging her. I was giggling one time when it happened to me in a supermarket last December. Somebody I hadn't seen in 3 years, like, whoa, okay. So thank you for that. So yes, that's what branding looks like for me. And I'll hand it back to you, Queen Barbara.
Oh my God, you dropped some nuggets. I'm loving it. And you got a wonderful example. Like you said, your parents, your mother, 40 years. Who can not sit there and listen to somebody you've been there for 40 some years? I'm like, okay, I need to and listen. And building relationships. Every queen on this panel, I'm giving them the love, keep giving the love. They know how to build relationships. They know how to make sure it's a one-on-one. And I feel like that makes a huge difference for somebody just sending out an email and saying, "Hey, how you doing?" to somebody really coming to, like following you on LinkedIn, like the Queen said, and she, "Hey, how you doing today?" Da da da. And don't sit there and say, "Hey, how you doing today? Buy my product." "Hey, how you doing today? Get on my website." "Hey, how you doing today? I got a website next week. Can you get?" No, please. I'm begging people, please do not do that to people. It is very, I always tell the story, and I'm going to get to the Queens again. Somebody came to me in LinkedIn, said, "Hi, Barbara, how you doing? I have a product I want you to buy." And the product was how to enhance. And I'm going to just say on a man's end. And I'm sitting there like, okay. I looked around. I'm like, well, I know I am not a male. And I know there's a lot of things going on around the world today, but I'm all woman. I don't need the product. Did you even know or think about or look at my profile to see what I do, maybe what my needs are, not so much of you trying to sell me? That right there, that to me, that damages your brand. You're not building relationships or anything. And I took them out of my whole network. See how that one thing just went, left. So with that, I want to take us down the road when it comes to the essential elements of building a successful brand image. Okay. I know we talked about the websites and stuff. Okay. But what certain elements that you could see, Queens, that builds that image for you or just in people in general? So who wants to take that on?
I think for me, it has, now that I am working on my branding for my business and for me, I am really realizing how important it is to be so crystal clear about who I serve, how I serve them, and what they can expect from me. And until I was so crystal clear on that, I felt like I was kind of like, ooh, what am I doing? Because people, I think you said about a confused mind does nothing. So how could I expect people to follow me if I didn't know what it was like to follow me? Does that make sense? We have to know, be so clear. And I loved what Lachelle said is about, you can be everywhere, but pick your lane. Like, I know that most of my potential clients are going to be business professionals. Well, where do business professionals hang out? They hang out on LinkedIn. And one of the strategies now that I am doing to reach out to them as part of my brand is that I am putting out little, now that LinkedIn lets you do it, little audio messages. Rather than just sending a connection notice, I am sending out a personal audio message. And of course, I'm getting people, "Thank you so much for the message." That seems to be a lost art, that people actually reach out rather than just texting. And you wouldn't believe how many times I am hearing that. Because that's one of the things that I want to be known for, is having a personal touch. I will personally work with you, that personal touch. And if that's something that's something that's important to me. So consequently, that's what I'm doing. And that's, I think, what you have to find out. How do you want to be perceived? What part, do you want to be perceived as what you just talked about? As somebody who just, "Hi, how are you? And let's get married." Well, no, you can't do that. And yet I get that so often. "Oh, hi, thanks for connecting. And this is what I do. Would you like to sign up with me?" Well, no. Did you even look to see? Although there have been a couple of times where I have been able to turn it around. "Thank you so much for your kind offer. I already have what you're offering to me, but this is what I can offer to you." And I have had a couple of people that go, "Really?" So you never know. So I try very hard, because one of the things I want to be known for is that I am open to opportunities. "Thank you so much for your offer. I already have that. However," because you never know.
Yeah.
People are looking for relationships. I love that. That is so true. People are looking for relationships.
Yes. I love that. That's the theme I see that's going on right tonight is building those relationship with others. People, it's a miss. It's a miss right now. That's why I said things are different back in like in the 60s, 70s, 80s compared to now. Because it's kind of everybody's doing everything. Everybody's running around, and people are forgetting that we're human beings and we need to connect. We need to have those conversations. I love what you said, Barbara, about on LinkedIn how they do have that little 50-second, you can leave that little sound bite for somebody. I love hearing voices like American Supermom, Queen Below when they came to me and everybody. I was like, oh, their voice sounds so nice. I mean, and I know people are like, oh God, Barbara, but for real, it makes you feel different than just a text or just somebody that's texting to you. It gets to your senses, so that's why it's so important to do that. So anybody else thinking about some essential elements when you're building your brand?
Can
Anybody
I
want to?
just echo a bit what Queen Barbara Ellison said? Because one of my previous jobs, I worked at SV Academy, and part of our rebranding is using the art of creating short videos. So I love that you said the audios, but even especially when you are seeking jobs and things like that, even this week with colleagues, I create like little 30-second videos, just even confirming a meeting or saying something that's personal about them, so that in a way that creates, as you said, even though we live in this very virtual world, it makes them feel like they know you, like you, and trust you before they've even actually met you. So that aspect as well of relatability, and then your personality shines through. They're like, oh, this is a cool person. I like to spend time to get to know. So I just wanted to echo that extra bit from what I heard from Miss Barbara Ellison say.
Thank you so much, Queen. I'm glad you added that because one thing I'm like you, I like doing the videos too. Because I like to see people, I don't know, I just like to just interact like that and they see my, just my personality, like you said, and that comes across. I mean, every time I see anybody on video, I do watch their body movements and everything. Because then that kind of gives people a hint on, okay, if I want to work with you or if I want to in your, coach or whatever you have, I want to see just a little bit of who you are. Because anybody can hide behind what like you said, your platforms, right? So that was awesome, Queen, that you put that out there. Thank you so much for reminding us of that. Anybody else want to add just any elements that you see that's kind of building that brand for the person?
I think for myself, it is being present and empathy. I think back to how I was able to build my brand over the course of these 7 years of what I'm doing. It's because I was able to be aware of what people's problem points were. I think my biggest growth was during the pandemic. And I just sit back and remember about how I was very conscious of what I wanted to do to help support people that were struggling with their mental health. And it was then that I connected with you, and my desire to have master classes and educate people about what I feel they needed during a hard time of being able to navigate through the pandemic gave me the opportunity to be recognized as the first woman of the month in your Facebook group. And from there, it just continued to grow with me creating content to where I was able to have a podcast, then a TV channel, book collaborations, and all these things. And I think when you're able to be present, you can hear what the pain points are of other people, which gives you platforms that you can begin to share some solutions with them. So I think this is really important because sometimes when we are focused on scaling and growth, we can get caught up in what's the new app and, what's the trend of what's going on. And if you're jumping from trend to trend and app to app, you can really lose sight of the people that you have created a relationship with. One of the things that really got popular for me during the uh, tail end of the pandemic was Clubhouse. I grew a club and all this stuff, and now people are back on some other thing, whether it's TikTok or, Clapper, all these different apps. And it's like I'm still over on Clubhouse because, I curated a large following over there. And I just am the type that I just am not going to jump ship on people. I think that it's important to understand with your brand, how are you going to connect everybody? I work to have monthly meet and greets with all my different social media platforms so that I can create this cohesiveness and community because you never know how things are going to go. I didn't even think that I would be on Clubhouse. Then I end up with the following. It's like you just can't drop people, and go to the next thing. At least that's my thing. I feel we should be people of integrity. So when that happens, you have to really learn how to navigate through those things because you never know what's going to be successful as you continue to build your brand.
Yes, I love that, American Supermom. I'm glad because as soon as I was thinking of the word you said, as soon as I was thinking about it, integrity. And then, it's listen. See, that's the thing we all been saying, all the queens here, listening to that person. And I just don't mean, and I was just talking the other day to somebody about there's a difference between hearing and listening, a huge difference. And I tell people, I say, yeah, you can hear a siren around. I mean, if a siren goes off, you hear, like, okay, that's a siren. You can still be doing your work. But when you listen, you're like, okay, now where is it coming from? I need to look outside. Is it close? Is it my neighbor? Is it down the street? Is there a fire? See, that's when you're listening because now you're paying attention and you're trying to see what the problem is, what's going on. That's what American Supermom is talking about, how listening is the key. And I'm telling you, gain so many people and see how some people are like, well, what does it got to do with branding? It has to do with a lot because now you're building your network. You're building people that trust is being put together. So thank you, American Supermom, for saying that.
Well, it also brings to mind about how we first got connected because, I was invited to your group and I did a post incorrectly or something like that. Maybe you could tell the story better, but just the way that I was led by the Lord to handle it the way that I did, and look at what happened. So I'll let you tell the story.
But y'all should just throw that on me like that. You tell the story. You tell the story well. But real quickly, because I want to make sure we get the love from the other queens too. Like America Supermom said, there was we still have it's called Celebrate You, and she came into the group, and I know you put a post in there, and it was not really following all the guidelines. I think that's what it was. So it was funny because I talked to the other co-founder, and I said, okay, what should we do? Because we want to make sure that we're in order, but we want to make sure we're showing love. I mean, that's what we have to say. So I said, okay, I'll take it. So I reached out to America Supermom. This is when we just first met. I mean, we didn't even know each other at all, and I just explained to her about the rules and everything. Now, this is the part that was the magic. See, this is where you can either react or respond. America Supermom was like, okay, and she took it in. Now she could have sit there and said, well, you know what, forget this. I don't even know your group anyway, and blah, 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 blah. You're just starting. Really? You got nerds. She could have went there. We all could have went there, right? But she didn't. She sat back. She listened. She understood what I was saying. And we had a wonderful conversation to the point then we got a hold of her. It's like, okay, you're Woman of the Month. Oh, we want you on this panel. We want you to be on this. I mean, we just couldn't let her go after that. So you see how by just responding a certain way and listening, how it built this wonderful collaboration and friendship. And it's been over, Mary Sue, it's been like almost 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years. So that's huge, huge. So yes, listening is the key to everything. And I was going to ask Karen, because I want to make sure we get some love from you.
Thank you, Queen Barbara. Yeah, I'm listening to all of this and I totally agree. It's who you are. Your brand is who you are. It is about the relationships in our world. Not everyone feels the same way. So their brand is different, but having a brand that can be recognized and seen and said, oh, all right, well, that's Queen Barbara Beckley. All righty. we know her. She's awesome. She's fun. She reaches out. She's compassionate. She's empathetic. And all of the queens on this panel and in the Diamond Perspective are amazing that way. They're who I want to hang out with. Now, as was brought up before on people who are out there simply to sell. All right, well, maybe that is the brand that they want to be. They don't want to take the time to meet people. They don't want to get to know people. They just want to sell, and that is their brand. Do I want to buy from them? Probably not. I want to know people. I always like to reach out and connect with anybody before I purchase, before I have them on my podcast, before anything. I want to reach out and know people, and that's how I got in. I was invited. It was fun, but I didn't jump into the Diamond Perspective. It was by an invitation, and that by Barbara Ellison, and Barbara was just so much fun. I love fun. I don't know if you noticed that about me.
Yes, I always do. That's why I always love you coming on the panel too. And America's Supermom and the new Queen. I mean, we supposed to have fun, right? Life should be fun. We only live once. I mean, you might as well.
Life is short. Don't have regrets. Enjoy.
Enjoy life. Enjoy life. I want to just put out some love real quickly before we wrap up. Miss Ronnie, Queen Ronnie's there. She's been on the panel. Want you back, lady, if you're listening to me. I think it's Leah. Is it Leah? I want to make sure. Look at this Queen. She's just been blowing up the comments. Come on, Queen. Love you. Love you. I'm going to send you a little message just to let you know. I always tell the ladies, you know, we always want to invite queens to come on. I had to put a little blurb out there. This particular show was created, the title, by America's Supermom. I have to give her the love on that. Because I was trying to find something that was not just a one-on-one, but I wanted to do some kind of panels with women. Just like the talk and all that. You see all that on the show. And I want to say, what can I create in a Diamond Perspective, but with queens? And America's Supermom she said, why not Diamond Perspective? See how it's just like, it was like, boom. Okay, what's wrong with you, Barbara? That's it. You know, so that's what I love about collaboration, because you can be in your mind like, okay, what should I say? What should I call it? And then somebody just comes along, boom, and you're like, oh, you're right. I took all day trying to figure out a title. Who does that? You know, we all do that. So I wanted to create this, and it's been building. It's been building. People, like Karen said, Barbara Ellison, she was inviting people. It was funny. One minute we had 3 people in the messenger, and then like a course of 2 weeks, I see 10 people. I'm like, what? They're just popping up. And I love it because you're getting different perspectives. And this goes back to this show of different ideas and thoughts from different queens. And no one is wrong. I'm just going to say it like that, because everybody's going to have their own take on everything. And everybody's going to take a little bit from everybody. Like I take a little bit from Karen, a little bit. See, this is like a buffet. Think of it as a buffet. Got a little America Supermom, got America Barbara Ellison over there. She's trying to get her. I think I hear you now, Barbara. I was going to say, she doesn't hear us still. Okay, she's still having it. Yeah. Okay, she's working on it. And then a little bit from Karen, and then you just get a little bit from everybody. It's like, ooh, that tastes so good. And you're getting different things. You're learning some things. And I always tell people, you can learn some things from people that are wrong, what not to do. I learned from a lot of people when they do something wrong, what not to do. I said, I'm not going to do what they did because that wasn't right. So with this perspective, this is going to another level. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm getting people ready. 2024. I'm going to be putting this show on another level. Right now, we're on YouTube and we're on LinkedIn, and I'm going to get it mainstream on a level platform that I'm a part of called E360 TV. And because I want people to see these queens, and I want you to talk about different perspectives of life. So that's going to be coming up in a few months, and all these queens didn't know they're about to get leveled up on here. See, if you stick around with the queens, this is what happens. So come on. So with that said, I want to wrap it up because we're almost in the hour. And I want to make sure that each queen has a chance to basically say, just give a last thoughts when it comes to branding, and then also let the people know how they can contact you, because each of these queens have their own businesses, and I want you to know what they do in the world because they're lighthouse to the world. So we're going to start with the new queen here and go up. Now she's on mute. Everybody's on mute.
Thank you, Queen Barbara. I just wanted to, as I close, I just want to amplify even what you said about the power of collaboration, because I believe our brands are constantly evolving depending on the people we're surrounded by. So I know even just my interactions with LinkedIn audio rooms has been a fantastic experience for me, because I actually managed to become a 2 times international bestselling co-author in 1 month just from those relationships. But what also I love about it is that I feel that we're all standing on the shoulders of those who've gone before us, but we're much more powerful together as we stand as a tribe. And I believe the more authentic that we are within ourselves and knowing ourselves, the more we attract the kinds of people who will also complement and who we can also nurture at the same time. So that's my 2 cents for now. Thank you.
And tell them, Queen, how they can contact you.
You can just find me on LinkedIn. You can easily DM me on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Yes, you can. And she will create that connection for you. Okay, America Supermom.
Well, again, I just want to thank you so much, Barbara, for having me, and all the other ladies that have been here. I'm over here taking notes. I feel like I'm always willing to be a sponge and take in what other people are sharing. I think my final thoughts about branding are, the more clear you are about what your brand represents, it really helps you to work smarter and not harder. One of the things that I just go back in my own journey. When I first started, I was so busy focusing on the sales, and it's exhausting because you're going from one sale to the next sale to the next sale, and so many things you can't plan for because you don't know where you're going to be next week. You're so busy chasing stuff. But when you begin to really embody what your brand is, you really have it easier, because people will be attracted to whatever it is that you are representing, and they will send people to you. So it's like, you have less work, right? People just open up their platforms. They want to collaborate with you. And, before, you're so worn out that you a lot of times wouldn't even be in a position to see these things because you're so busy chasing the next customer. So for me, I would say, really be clear about the problem that you solve, and find different ways that you can embody that and express it, be an example for it, because when it comes to being versatile, you can be versatile with the methods that you use to accommodate that same audience in different spaces. I'm pretty much everywhere. And the best way to follow up with me is just simply send me an email at info@LachelleAtkins.com. But you can follow me on all social media platforms.
And just to let everybody know, if you can't find Miracle Supermom, something's wrong with you. And you can always, I'm just being honest, and you can always reach out to me because I know exactly where she's at, and all these queens. So if you're like, I don't remember where they are, call Barbara. I'll tell you where they are. Miss Wonderful Karen.
Again, going back to the beginning, I look at branding as a means of nonverbal success. And you show up in that in every way, but you have to follow your values. You have to follow your heart. Ooh. And if your heart and your values are not part of your brand, it's just not going to work. You have to love what you're doing. You have to love yourself. And And when you start following your values, I think that's where a lot of people have issues. They're going here, they're going there, they're following this person, they're following that person. They like that brand, but the colors are really bad, you know? Follow your heart. Be true to yourself, and your brand will follow. That is the nonverbal. When you look at something that is you, that connection, those relationships are so important in our world. But we're all different. And it's okay. We can choose the brand to follow. Coca-Cola or Pepsi, you know? What do you want to follow? Adidas or Nike? Whatever. The Swish or the A. It is no right or wrong. It's simply what's right for you. And as long as you are doing what is right for you, then you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
And I would love to have you come to the awesome www.awesomelifepodcast.com or reach out on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn at Karen J. Stultz. That's how you can find me there.
Awesome. Woo! There's another wonderful panel discussion. Yes. And I want people just to know for next time, we meet once a month right now, first Thursday of the month. So it's not that hard to say, okay, we're on the calendar. Once a month on Thursday this time. Want everybody to let's just know that our next topic for next month is going to be on leadership and team development. So leadership and team development. So Queens, you got to get, because I have a little chart that they have to sign up on a sign-up sheet. So get on the sign-up sheet. And we want to hear some wonderful perspective when it comes to that. Again, I just want everybody to know, please reach out to these queens. Barbara Ellison, she was having some tech issues. Her motto, and I love it because we do a show together as well, is called, she wants to make happiness the norm and not the abnorm. That's what she wants in the world. She loves people so much, and she just wants to see smiling faces. And she said we can do that if we just take that time instead of going to the negative first. Let's try to go to the positive first. Push that out more in front, and then bring back the negative in the back. And she helps people in retirement stages regarding just their, just emotions and how they are, not just the money. So Barbara, I want to give you some love. I know technology wasn't for us a little bit, but I want to put you out there. Please reach out to her LinkedIn. She's out there as well. And she has her own shows and a few shows. With that said, thank you, Queens, again for coming on as always. I truly, truly honor each and every one of you because you've taken the time out of your day to come on this show and just give those golden nuggets that I just love so much. So please, people, I hope you have it written down because, you know what? You can look at the replay. There you go. Get the replay. So with that, we'll see you in February. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Queens. Welcome to 2024. Let's make it last. And like I always say, be those lighthouses to the world. See you next month. Bye.